Okay, the first CD is by a group called Tripping Daisies. The album is called I'm an Elastic Firecracker. It's right here. That's Tripping Daisies. The album was, like all of them, 99 cents. And I like the cover a lot. Like I like the color, the deep red, like the wet kind of red with the light blue background, and then the white tripping daisies and the white background. I just like the color, the contrast from the really light blue to the deep red. I really thought so. The cover jumped out at me. Here's the back. Um, you know, Makes me not want to get old soon. Anyway, so um, but yeah, the album came out in '95, I think it was, and basically the sound is basic. They're kind of like, remember like groups like Everclear and like Creed and all those, like kind of like, wannabe Nirvana, but not quite. I don't know. There was like all that, like there was that weird period where there was like 100 of these like fake indie bands. Like it was a lot of like fake college rock and indie band. I don't know. Tripping Daisies was one of those bands. They actually even had a hit with a song called "I Got a Girl." I got a girl, da 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 da. I got a girl, she's got a girlfriend, and I know what I mean. That was the song. I don't know. I just remember it was on BCN, and I worked in a warehouse that played BCN all the time, so I heard all this shit all the time, and this was one of the songs. So I give these guys a 3 stars, mainly for the fact that I really like the cover. I'm not really that much of a fan of the music, but I really thought the cover was done well. Whoever did the photograph, I liked the color. Anyway, I'll give this 3 stars because I'm sure there are people out there that like this kind of music. I just don't. Okay. Next CD is Liquid Jesus. Alright? Liquid Jesus with their album Pour in the Sky. This is shit. This is horrible. It starts off with like opera. Like you hear these like really pretentious like opera women and men, and they're not even really doing that good opera. Like if it was done like Klaus Nomi, I would have been like, oh, okay, because it's not even good opera. It's just pretentious and stupid. And then they throw everything in their mother in each song. There's cellos and violins and opera and then of course there's like the rock band, that kind of break in and the singer's got like he sounds like he's listened to like Chicago and like Boston, like all those like big 70s like sort of like stadium rock bands. He's like got that swagger in his voice. They're just horrible. Horrible. It's pretentious. It's horrible. It's unlistenable. I got through it once and I feel very proud of myself. And I never will listen to this again. So I hate this album. So it's 0 stars for Liquid Jesus. This fucking sucks. And that's it for that. The next album is by a group called Fudge Tunnel. Band I've never heard of until this. This came out in '92 on Earache Records. There, and I really like this album, Fudge Tunnel, and their album is called Creep Diets. But I really like this album. It's funny because I put it on in my car, and I kept meaning to take it out, but I just kept playing it. And then probably like about the 7th or 8th, honestly, and I'm not kidding, like at the 7th time or something, I'm like, well, I gotta admit that I like this album because I can't stop playing it. So I like this album. It's very kind of like early '90s, kind of like, not Helmet. Helmet's cleaner than that. They're kind of like Jesus Lizard, kind of like a Jesus Lizard meets, a lot of like local bands that I know of. They sound really good. I really like them. They're noisy. They're kind of, but they're together. They play well, but not overplay. It's just a really good album. It's really cool. Really, a lot of aggression, a lot of noise. Fudge Tunnel with Creep Diets. I give this a 5 star. They were on Earache Records, which looks like a subsidiary of, I can tell by the Sony. I can tell you just by looking at the inside that it was definitely a major label, Sony. But anyway, it was good. They probably went bankrupt because that's what happened to all the bands in the '90s. Because because they went in, took all the indie bands, bought them all up, and said, "You're going to be the next Nirvana," and nobody was. So they fired them all, and then the band went bankrupt because the label threw hordes of money at them, and then they had to pay them back. So they had to go file for bankruptcy, and they had to. This happened to the reason why I know all this is because a lot of bands I really liked that were flourishing in the indie scene in the '80s and in the early '90s, and then thinking, oh, and then major labels started picking everyone up. They thought, okay, well, this is our chance, and nobody. So that's how Nirvana, in my opinion, killed rock and roll, because a lot of these really good bands that would have just went on to good, had to end up filing for bankruptcy, and they could no longer use the names. So they had to either change the name of the band or go under, reform. What is my cat doing? She just walked across the screen. Oh, there goes my. Goodbye.